Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Story with Ori. Now, as you all know, each week I bring you a different guest, and I'm trying to stay focused within the realm of Hollywood and the people that make Hollywood work. Okay? Now, one thing that you probably hear, you all know who Brad Pitt is, who Mark Wahlberg is, and all the big stars. But what you don't understand is, if you watch a TV show or a movie, there's many people that make it all happen. In Hollywood here, we have a term called working actors. Now, this gentleman, I want you to say hello to Sonny Saito. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Saito?
Saito.
Saito, yeah, that's
Saito.
Japanese, yep.
All right. He was born in Tokyo. Young man.
Young?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, look, he looks very young.
Okay.
But if you see Sonny, you've seen him in a lot of your TV shows, Hawaii Five-O, NCIS, you name it. He's been on it, several movies. And Sonny, say hello to everybody. And you know what people are interested in? You know, how old were you when you came from Tokyo there?
Well, you know what? I was born in Japan when I was 4. I moved to Hong Kong. You know where that is?
Yeah.
Okay. The Hong Kong at the time was a British colony. So first I went to British school there, and then I went to Japanese school in Hong Kong. Then I went to American school and graduated high school there and came to U.S. after graduating from high school. And I went to college up in Minnesota, of all places, which was a great place. You know, I learned the Americana, Midwest, you know. Then from there, I went to New York, where you're from. And I spent a couple of years there and came over here to LA after that.
And what did you do in New York? Were you,
know
an
what?
actor? Did you come here
You know, when I was
be an actor?
Yeah, when I was working in New York, I was initially working as an investment banker on Wall Street. And I had a passion to be an actor, but, you know, as a international student, I was a Japanese national. And I had to get a visa, working visa. So it was very difficult to pursue your goal or your dreams. You had to do what you can do. And in college, I was physics and chemistry major. So math came easier as, you know.
So you were a chemist major?
Yeah, chemistry. I was a pre-med, basically. So when I first came to college here, I was pre-med and applied for med school, but I couldn't get in because I got accepted, but I couldn't pay for it. So, you know, I had to work. And, you know, I remember year before, or Thanksgiving before the graduation, I flew to New York to a friend of mine's house in Long Island, okay? And at that time, LIE, they were going on strike. So I had to take a bus from Long Island, Hauppauge, to the World Trade Center, right, at the time. And I remember getting on the bus around 5 o'clock in the morning, get there, the World Trade Center, like at, I don't know, 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or something like that, without any appointments for interview. I was looking for a job. And I go to World Trade Center and I look up the directory. And I was looking at all these Japanese companies, Japanese banks, you know, because I speak fluent Japanese. And I just wrote it down, and I had my resume in hand and a book called Sweaty Palms, you know, about the interviewing, for a job. And from top floor, all these Japanese companies, I walked in there unannounced, without interview, appointment. And I just said, could you interview me? Here's my resume, I'm looking for a job. And I went down, and one company, Bank of Tokyo at the time, interviewed me. And then after that, I went back to Minnesota, and 2 weeks later, I got a job as a trainee for yen-dollar currency exchange trader, okay? And I said, oh, that's great, but what else is there? So I was looking for another job, and I was talking to other people, and one headhunter from Hong Kong called and said, hey, you know what, they're looking for international guy at this company, American company, in high yield bond trading desk in New York. So I flew to New York again, this time on their dime, right? And then I had an interview from that morning at like 8:30 in the morning until 4 o'clock at night. And I remember the last interview I had, this head of international guy says, I'm going to interview you from in my car, in my limo, from downtown Wall Street to Midtown because I have to go to Midtown for a meeting. So come in my car and I'll interview you. I get in the car and he goes, okay, we got 20 minutes to get to my meeting. Why should I hire you? Go. And I have no fucking idea what to say. But I just somehow bullshit my way through. By the time I got to Midtown, he goes, I want you to get on, a red eye tonight. Go back to your hotel with this limo, get your stuff, get on the red eye, and come to Beverly Hills. We're going to interview you there. All right. So I'm on another flight. I get to LAX. I have no idea. I've never been to LA before. And, there's a guy with my name card, the name on the the board, and says, I'm your driver. I have this is like, I'm like, what, 21, right? 21, 22. And then next thing I know, I'm in Beverly Wilshire Hotel in a suite, right? And I'm going, what the hell's going on, right? And then next morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, I go to the office and I get interviewed from 5:30 until about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, maybe like another 10 interviews.
The interview was that long?
Well, there was like 10, 15 people, interviewed me. And then I go back to Minnesota. A week later, I get an offer. And next thing I know, I graduated and I go to New York and I start working in Wall Street. And I had no fucking idea what they did, I was just an intern, and I was basically, because I think of my background in studying physics and chemistry and the discipline of going to labs every day and, doing all that stuff, just made me work harder and realize that if I do this, eventually I get to do what I want to do, right? So I had to do what I can do so that I can do what I wanted to do. So that's when I went to New York, and then after that, I had to go through a training. Then they flew me over to Beverly Hills office, and I've been here ever since, So I was in Wall Street, investment banking, private equity, hedge fund, things like that until I was 30. And then I finally retired and went back to acting school, and then I've been acting ever since.
You went to acting school here?
Yeah, I did. And then, aside from acting, I've been doing a lot of different things like consulting and real estate, luxury real estate and stuff like that. Yeah.
I got to ask you, what acting school you went to?
Well, I went to Howard Fine. I went to East West Players. I had an acting coach here. I had the method acting, everything that you can think of. I was like so hungry to learn. And basically, I felt that I had to catch up to everyone else, because I had to have the skill set to be able to do what I wanted to do, because I wanted to do it so bad. I wanted to do this for a long, long time. And, just a side note, I wanted to do this, but always my business brought me back. I had to do what I had to do because all these companies will ask me to do consulting and stuff like that. And I'll forgo my opportunity to do that. Then something happens and it reminds me that, hey, I have to follow what I wanted to do.
You follow your dream.
Yeah.
But I got a million questions for you.
Uh-oh.
But I want to tell the audience, first of all, you know how I met this gentleman? Okay? He happens to be my neighbor. He moved into my building where I'm at. Now, we talk about acting school.
Yeah.
Do you know who lives on the penthouse?
Yes, I met him at the parking lot.
Bernie.
Yeah.
No, Bernie Hiller.
Yeah.
You met him?
I met him briefly, yeah.
He's one of the best, got one of the best acting schools around.
I got to talk to him.
He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice guy.
A lot of people from the entertainment industry there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who says they're in entertainment business.
Right. But now you went to school in Japan. But you went to an English school there
There's a I went to school in Hong Kong, right?
in Hong Kong.
And there is British school there, Australian school there, Japanese school there, Chinese school there. I mean, it was international. So when I first went to New York, right, people say, oh, fucking New York is international and cosmopolitan and all that. Hong Kong, when I grew up, was more than that. So when I went to New York, it was like, pfft, it's like, nothing. Yeah, exactly.
No, but now you came here to the United States on your own or with your family?
By myself.
By yourself?
Yeah, with a ticket and visa in my hand and suitcase, and I got to Minnesota. I remember the first night I was there, I was like, what the fuck did I get myself into, you know? Because I'm sleeping in a dorm. I got there as an international student. So I got there before school started during orientation, like a couple of weeks before that. So I'm sitting there in my bed in a dark room in a dorm by myself, right? With no sheets, no pillow. I'm like, I don't know where to go. And that's when I found out what a great place Target is. Okay.
Target?
Yeah, so the Target was the place that I went to and bought everything, you know? So yeah, I was in Minnesota. I was like, you know what? I got to get out of this place. Because I came from the city, and even though Minneapolis-St. Paul is a great town, great city, it was totally different.
Well, compared to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong and New York. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like,
It's
a suburb to you.
Yeah. But you grew up in New York, right?
I grew up in upstate New York.
Okay.
In a very small town, Rome, New York.
Okay. And how did you get here? Sorry to interview you, but
Well,
but how long you been here now?
50 years.
So you're LA
I'm an LA
guy more than New York.
Yeah, I've been
right?
here 50 years.
Yeah.
But up until my arrest, I maintained an apartment back in New York.
Okay.
So I was going back and forth once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah.
That's a lot. But you have a family there still, right?
Yeah, but my family was different than most people's family. You know? Sometimes you get a call, you got to get on a plane and go.
Right.
You know?
Right. Oh, wow. Okay. But you had business here too, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was very well known in Hollywood
Right.
with a big A-list celebrity,
I read your
lawyers,
book,
the
yeah.
agents, and studios. And,
Right.
I was talking to somebody yesterday about communication.
Right.
And Ron Myers used to be the president of Universal.
Right.
I can call Ron Myers, and by the end of the day, I get a call back from him.
Really?
You can call him, anybody. He returned every call he got.
Really?
The other guy was Jack Gilardi, agent at ICM, who
Okay.
Jack wrote a blurb before he passed away on my book. Returned every phone call.
Wow.
In Hollywood today, nobody does that.
Yeah, it was a different business then.
It's just totally different. I remember in New York on 57th Street, my friend Lou Perry, who's actually the guy that introduced me to Sonny Saito. Lou Perry is the guy that discovered Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Oh, really?
And he was also a casting agent.
Oh, wow.
And he had offices on 57th Street.
Okay.
And I can remember in New York, back in those days, you knew who the young actors and actresses were, because they carried their big portfolios around, and they they walk into casting. You casting? Here's my picture. Here's my picture.
Right,
Right.
right.
And his desk would be piled like this with photos.
Right. Wow.
And it's not like that today. Everything's.
But were you always in entertainment in New York too, or no? Other things too, I know.
I was in a lot of things.
Yeah. But entertainment was one of them always.
But entertainment, we've always been around the entertainment industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Owning
nightclubs.
Right.
My friends own nightclubs.
But over here in Hollywood, it's more of a film production and TV.
Well,
I
got
involved
actually
in that.
began here with Dino De Laurentiis and Ralph Serpi.
Okay.
When Dino, had his first office was on Cannon Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a real estate place there now.
Mm.
But they were filming a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
What was the production company called?
Dino De Laurentiis.
Yeah. What was the company called? Was it? It wasn't Orion or
What was his
anything, right?
company?
forgot- yeah.
Dino was big.
Right. I remember.
mean, that guy could come up with money like that.
Right.
And,
Hmm.
but they were having a problem with an actor who was giving the director a hard time on the set,
Right.
which happens often.
Of course.
A lot of times,
It's a big time actor.
the actors think they know more than the director. And I'm not going to mention the actor's name,
Okay.
but the movie was the Valachi Papers.
Hmm.
I said, I'll take care of the problem. No, Ori,
Wait. So were you involved in the production? Were you an associate producer
No.
or anything?
No,
You're just a
fixed it
guy
up.
that you knew.
I knew him, so I went over and I took care of the problem
Okay.
with the actor. I explained to the actor how he was making the movie go over budget because of his attitude.
Hmm.
All right, I said, you're the actor, you're being paid to act. He's
Okay.
the director.
So,
You
so
gotta
let me imagine this. You walk into this fucking trailer
I
that he
went-
was in
Yeah,
by yourself?
yeah.
Okay. And like, did you talk? How did you talk?
Well, I saw him on the set. I said, come here, I got to talk to
Get
you.
over here.
And I took him to his trailer.
All right.
All right?
Yeah. And this was the first time you did this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, it's really something. People look at me
Yeah.
and they hear my voice,
Yeah.
and the first thing they think is mafia.
Yeah.
I just
Were they wrong?
No,
Right.
no,
Right.
it's not wrong at all.
Right.
All right,
So they
but
know.
it worked
They get
to
the
my
message.
benefit,
Right.
Because they knew that by looking at me and by me talking, and I was there never with a gun, never with any guys,
Right.
but they knew there were 500 guys behind me if I needed them.
Right. So how many years ago was this?
Oh my God, 1971, something like that.
Wow. Okay. Almost 30 years ago. All right. 54 years ago, something like that.
40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Incredible.
a long time.
So, I mean, I know there are things that you can say and you can't say, but do you miss it?
Were you interviewing me? Andy, this happens all
That's
the
pretty
time to
interesting,
people.
though,
You
right?
end up interviewing me over.
But
You know,
you-
your story is
Yeah.
very interesting. I want you to tell. All right? You're very big in Japan. You're well known there?
Well, I've done TV shows there. In 2017, I started going back to Japan a lot. Okay, and I signed with a management company there. And because I was running another business there too in Japan, as well as acting. So because of that, I did a couple TV shows over there not as an actor, but as a celebrity, to go there and promote some of the TV shows that I've done during 2017 to 2020 until the COVID hit. I was going back there a lot. And like in 2019, right before COVID, I shot Hawaii Five-O, played the mafia boss, not mafia boss, but Yakuza boss on that show, on I think 4 or 5 episodes. Character name was Masuda, and I was supposed to be Masuda was the biggest Yakuza boss on the island, you know. So I played that, and then I did my own Japanese voiceover on that show for a Japanese market. And then after that, I think I did Westworld and SWAT. SWAT was a big show.
Now that's SWAT over there.
SWAT here.
SWAT here?
Yeah.
The
So
one that just, I love SWAT. It was
yeah,
my
I
favorite show.
think it wrapped last year, year
Yeah.
before that. But there was a big episode where a SWAT team extradite a Japanese Yakuza guy back to Japan.
Yeah.
And I played the sergeant or captain Yoshida, who was the head of
I remember that
Tokyo
show.
Metropolitan Police Department. I was the Yoshida. And so on Hawaii Five-O, I played the Yakuza guy, the Mafia Don, right?
But now, in real life,
yeah.
did you ever, because the Masuda is pronounced, correct?
Masuda, yeah.
All right. Probably one of the best organized crime organizations in the world.
Mm-hmm.
These guys.
Yeah,
Have you ever known any of them in real life?
Well, you know, my mother's father my grandfather had a dojo, owned a judo place, right? And all these Yakuza guy and everybody else, they come from a family where not very rich family, right? So all the kids get put into this judo place or karate place, and they learn the martial arts, right, when they're a kid. So I remember there was a kid who well, I used to go back to Japan every summer to do judo because my grandfather was master, and I had to do it, even though I didn't like it. And I will be, practicing with this guy, and his father will come, and his father will have no pinky, to show that he's from Yakuza group, or whatever. And then later on, when I grew up, I found out that my mom's friend who was in dojo became a big shot Yakuza boss in this territory or that territory. And also other friends became police officers. So they all knew each other, and they controlled each other, and they have understanding. I'm sure it's the same way in New York here too, right? So it's like that. And like you said, it's a lot of discipline. That's a lot of discipline, a lot of rules and regulation, and honor is the main thing, right? Like you said about, your business friend or friends calling you back on the same day. That's like a trust and loyalty and honor thing, right? And that's big in Japan. And I don't know, I'm sure it's changing in the younger generation now.
It's changed in this country. I talk about honor, loyalty, and respect all the time.
Yeah.
And it's getting lost in this country.
Oh, yeah.
And, I blame our news networks of it.
All right. After I finished investment banking and I started acting and I started doing other things,
But acting is your main thing now?
Acting is my main thing and my what I like to do, what I love to do, And, those of you who are watching this and not sure of whether you're going to make it or, you're ready to give up, I think if you like it, you'll never give up what you want to do,
Right.
You will find a way to do it, It may not be as often as you want, but you will, because when I started, when I was, early 30s, a little late, like I said before, I said, if I'm not going to be able to do anything by 40 years old, I'm going to give up after 10 years, go back to investment banking, go into finance. But I couldn't when I turned 40, and I was not where I wanted to be, obviously. I mean, there's been many opportunities, but for some reason, somehow, I didn't get to where I wanted to go, to be, But I said, I like what I'm doing. I can't stop. I can't quit, And it's funny how when you're starting out in Hollywood, like a week before I was negotiating, a merger of a M&A company deal for like $300 million. And then next day I go to commercial audition, and some, casting associate behind the camera is telling me what to say and what to do. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, giving him an attitude, and I go, okay, if I'm going to do this, I got to drop my ego, and I'm nobody. I got to start from the scratch, start from the bottom. And then the first thing you want is get your SAG card, right? So, I started with a commercial, and I remember I was thinking last night, what was the first first job I did was, remember Northwest Airlines?
Northwest Airlines, yeah.
It's funny because when I flew from Hong Kong to Minnesota for my school the first time, I took Northwest Airlines, right? And that was a commercial that I did. And that's why I got my SAG card, And then from commercial, you want to be in a daytime show, right? Soaps, right? So I've done like 4 or 5 Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, Young and Restless. I mean, all these daytime shows. And then now...
Did you ever work with Renee Jones?
I don't think so. I don't know.
She was on one of the shows. She was big.
Okay. But one of the show's casting director, I mean, my gratitude to her. She is no longer here, but Fran Baskin, she was a big time casting director for many, many years for Days of Our Lives. And one day she calls me in and she sees my resume and she goes, "Oh, you've done, Tennessee Williams and all these American classics on theater and blah, blah, blah." She goes, "I'm not even going to ask you to audition for me. I'm just going to give you a job. So you want to do this shot, this character?" I'm like, "Sure." So I did that. And then like every month she will call me directly and say, "Are you still with that agent?" I'd say, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, you know what? I'm not going to call your agent. I'm going to call you directly. Do you want to do this character for next week? Are you available?" And she will call me like every month, every couple of months to do a show for Days of Our Lives. And she was the first supporter, if you will, of fans that I had.
Renee was in Days of Our Lives.
Really? Okay.
Renee Jones, she played Lexi Carver.
Okay. Was she the heavy smoker girl lady?
No, she was a very beautiful lady.
Yeah. Is that
That's her picture now.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Later.
No.
I met Renee. I met you in Lou Perry. I got to tell this story.
In New York?
In New York.
Yeah.
She was 18 or 19 years old.
Okay.
And she came, and we had a deal. We would sit in Lou's office, and Lou was older than me. Frank Russo was older than me. But these guys were always getting the girl. Whoever said, "I got her first," got that girl.
What do you mean by got that girl? What does that
That was my girl. Oh, we're all three old married men. I was young.
Okay.
I was young then. And I remember sitting there, and I leaned back on my chair. I see the door open into the office, and she walked in. I said, "This one's mine." It was Renee Jones. And she was doing modeling for Saks in the different stores in New York.
Yeah.
We all went out to dinner that night. And she and I actually became friends. There was never a romantic. It came close one night, actually, and I brought her to, the night it was supposed to happen, I brought her to dinner to Benihana, Tokyo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we, how you sit at the grill. So when the bill came, I took my wallet out, took my credit card out, and give it to the guy over here, and I left the wallet open. And when I turned, she's looking down, and there's a picture of my wife and kids.
That's what I thought, yeah.
All right? Killed everything.
Oh, no.
But she lived in Yonkers,
Yeah.
and she was going to move to California. So I told her to meet me in my hotel. I was flying in, and I had a gift for her. I gave her the book, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. I said, "Read this book, study it. I wish you all the best in California."
Wow.
Never heard from her. One night, there was a place on Sunset Boulevard when I finally came here. I was there called Scandia. And a friend of mine tells me he ran into Renee Jones. I said, "Give me her phone number." I called her. I took her out to dinner right that evening over on 3rd Street. And by this time, she's making $25,000 a week.
Wow. Well, she was working on soap already?
On Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives?
Yeah.
In the 70s or 80s? What was
Oh,
that?
this was in the 80s.
80s?
80s, yeah. And she telling me she's making this money. And she opens her purse. She takes out the book, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh.
It's tittered, it's tattered.
Wow.
All right. She says, "I never leave home without this."
It's like American Express.
Yeah,
Right?
and then she asked me, she told me the money she made, "Could you help me with my money?" And shit, I didn't have any money. It would have been a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I said, "Talk to your agent, have them advise somebody." But no, she became very big as Lexi Carter in that role. And she retired now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But,
Are you still in touch with her?
Huh?
Are you still in touch
I
with her?
haven't seen her.
Oh, yeah.
The last time somebody who knew her was supposed to give her my number. I don't know if they did. When Jack passed away, there was a big event at Paramount Studios for Jack. And,
Yeah.
but then, no, I know I haven't seen her. But, you know, hey, I wish her all the best. God bless.
Right.
But, you know, it's the story of what it takes. I mean, she was telling me when she first came here how she would go sell her blood just so she can get a meal.
Yeah.
Get a meal. And it's so tough. And people don't realize what the young actors and actresses got to go through to make it in this town.
Right.
You know? And, you know, like you began when you're 30, and I'm not going to tell anybody your age because I don't really know.
Yeah.
And if you Google your name,
Yeah.
they don't have your birthday anywhere.
Oh, good.
Okay? So I'm going to do something, folks. You all know my book, The Accidental Gangster. Write me. If anybody can guess his age, okay, I'll send you a free book. Because,
There you go. Yeah.
all right, so you've been acting since you're 30 years old.
Yeah.
And on a daily basis, what's your life going out on auditions like?
You know, it's so different now, you know, with the COVID. After the COVID, you know, we all do self-video taping,
Yeah.
you know. So we've been doing that for a while. And I'm going to go back to Japan hopefully soon to start doing over there as well. So it's totally different. I remember, you know, I'm driving down Sunset, I'm driving down Hollywood and looking at all these places that I used to go casting, right? And everything now is on Google Map or Waze or
Everything you
Apple Map,
Google.
whatever, right? Before, when I first started, when I would start acting, you know, until then I only knew Brentwood and Beverly Hills going back and forth because I lived over here and then.
Oh, you lived in Brentwood?
I lived in Brentwood, so I used to go back, and also I had an office in Century City, so I used to go back and forth. And I only knew this area. But when I started acting, I had to go to the Valley, I have to go to Burbank, I have to go to all these Hollywood places. I had no idea, you know. So we had this book of maps called McNeely. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then you look at the map, you look at the name of the street and number, and then you open the map, and then you figure out how to get there.
Right.
It was basically half the battle to get to casting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now everything is on Zoom or the video.
You say, I want to go there, and it tells you how to get there.
Yeah, exactly. And then now the audition, at least, I mean, most of the first time audition, first call, is on video, self-tape, you know, and then you send it in. You know, before you had to get there. I remember, even in 2017, I was in Japan and I came over here to do a show, did the show. Right before I went back to Japan, I had to go to Burbank to do an audition, you know, and then I'll go back to Japan and they call me back. So I got to come back here like a week later, you know, and then I mean, thank God I got the job, but you know, things like that.
But that's
now,
like a 14-hour flight, right?
Yeah, it's like 12 hours, 13 hours. It depends on which way you go. You know, one way is 9 hours, and one way is 12 hours. So, yeah, it's like it was brutal. And if you want the job, like I remember, I auditioned for this job, you know, like 4 or 5 times on this TV show, and I was in Vegas, and they said, "Oh, the producer wants to see you." So I had to come back to see the producer, and I didn't get a job. You know, but you have to do that. Now everything's on. Online,
Everything's online.
you can do it on video. So yeah, it's totally different lifestyle now. So now, yeah, hopefully there will be more auditions, you know, in the near future because we just came out of the strike and, you know, things are gradually starting.
Yeah, things are just getting back.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to get back to normal. I'll tell you what scares the hell out of me. Is this AI,
Oh yeah.
which the writers and the SAG actors fought for visually,
All right.
and this last time. But the next time their contract comes up,
Yeah. See, like during COVID, and all the production was down. I mean, I did, like you said, NCIS Hawaii. I went to Hawaii to shoot that, but I was there for like a couple of weeks. But I only shot maybe like 3 or 4 days on the
now
on the set.
what year? Because I watched NCAA.
I think it's
so-
20. I think it's 2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
It ran. I think I went to shoot that in 2020, like in November or something, like in Hawaii. And because of COVID, we weren't allowed to go out of the hotel room. When you didn't have a shooting day, So even though Waikiki Beach was right in front of me, I can go to the beach, I can surf. I had to like sit in the hotel room and wait till your call time, But anyway, so that was totally different type of. And during that time, I did Curb Your Enthusiasm, right here in Brentwood. I shot,
Right here.
in Katsuya, yeah.
Larry David.
Larry David, a great show. That was 100% improv, and that was most fun I ever had as an actor.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Was
fun.
Richard Lewis in it? He just passed away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't work with him, but we had a scene with Larry. We were going through the banter for about 3 to 5 minutes, I think it was. So basically, we knew where to start and where to end, but it was all improv, and it was so much fun, So all improv, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. It was great. But that was pretty much during, I think, 2020 when the COVID hit, So after that, everything kind of dried out with the strike and all that stuff. And during that time, I started doing voiceovers, and talk about AI. I was doing voiceovers for translating into Japanese or foreign shows into English with a little accent, Now with AI, they don't need me anymore. They can do it right there,
Right there.
Yeah, with the AI. So all these jobs, during the strike, we were talking during the meeting, the SAG meeting, people were concerned about the stunt people, along with the voiceover, stunt people, they don't need stunt people anymore because if you want Tom Cruise to do this, Tom Cruise does his own, but other, celebrity, you want him to fly, jump off the plane, they can create his, image just like that with
Just like
AI,
that.
and it's just.
And this is what I
tough.
mean. It's very, I'm watching TV, the news this morning. They got robots. You can go get a manicure and a pedicure, and a robot does it.
Right.
And they do it faster and quicker than a real person.
Right. So it's, yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine.
I don't even know. I mean, they were not allowed to use your image to create AI image to do whatever.
They can't use yours, but for
they
the
can create-
background people.
Yeah, but they can create your, fictitious person to be an A-list actor,
Right.
and promote it and do whatever they want to do with it, and they don't need us anymore, which is going to be crazy.
Writers may have a big problem
Oh yeah,
because AI. You
Right.
can take a book and pour out a script.
right,
I think the biggest people in Hollywood are going to become editors.
right. But the thing is, according to what I know, I guess the rule is that those ChatGPT AI and stuff like that, they all depend on what exists already, accumulate the mass data, the big data, and then provide the AI, output. So if you say, I want to create a script about, accidental gangster, right? They have to go out there, the AI has to go out there and find all these data that's been, somebody has produced or written already, and then create a new one based on that, right? So to a certain extent, it's a plagiarism, right? Because you're copying all these things and creating a new one.
Right.
So they have to source that somehow.
Well, they still got to have somebody to edit the script
Right,
when it's
right.
done.
At the end of the day, they have to review it and fix
Yeah,
it. There's
they gotta
an
fix
issue.
it.
Yeah.
The dialogue and
All that stuff they can create.
everything in there the right
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But
We'll see if I'm still alive in 50 years.
you're gonna be around. You're still a young kid.
We'll see.
No. Tell these young kids out there who listen to this, and I hope some young kids do, all right, who want to come from the Midwest or back east or come to Hollywood to become an actor and actress, what it takes for them to do it?
Well, I think it's different for everyone, right? So for me, it's what I wanted to do, you know.
So
what I
you
wanted
had
to
a
be.
burning desire.
Yeah, but the thing is, I did not want to be a celebrity. I did not want to be famous. That's not what I wanted to be. I would have been happy, and I'm still happy, if I get a job, you know, doing a community theater somewhere. You know, the problem was that I couldn't make a living. I couldn't eat by just doing, you know, theater work in Brentwood or wherever, right? So, yeah, whatever it takes, it was for me to use all my tools and skills and resources and figure out how to get to where I wanted to be, you know. And I'm still doing that. I'm still in the process of it, you know. And at the end of the day, people do give up. And if you're the only person left, you get the job.
That's right. Well, that's the problem. People give up too easily on things, and you never know what's around the corner. That's why you got to keep going. You know, I could interview you all day long.
Yeah, I know.
But we got to get going over here.
Okay.
All right. But I'm going to have you back for another one in the future.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming, Sonny.
All right. Thanks,
I appreciate it.
Yep.
My neighbor, Sonny, folks.